Something unexpected has shaken up the Cleveland Browns universe, and you'll want to hear about it until the very last second. Right after the 2024 NFL Draft, when Browns fans were still processing the picks and dreaming about the new season, a surprising and controversial decision was made. I'll give you all the details, so hit the like button and subscribe to stay informed. Now, the Browns have decided to sign wide receiver Diontae Johnson, a name that has been considered by so many teams that even casual NFL fans have had to double-check where he is. Steelers, Panthers, Ravens, Texans, and now Cleveland. And believe me, this isn't just another free agency move. It's the kind of decision that makes you question the direction the front office is taking. The Browns, desperate to strengthen a wide receiver core that lacked depth after the draft, opted not to invest any picks in the position. Many fans and analysts thought this was a huge mistake, and perhaps the Johnson signing is an attempt by the front office to plug that gap. But here's the thing, Diontae Johnson's recent track record has been anything but encouraging. Since 2023, he's bounced around between 4 different teams, a trajectory that screams instability. Not to mention, he's left behind a trail of character issues and locker room drama that would make any coach nervous. Why would Cleveland, a team still trying to shake off years of turmoil, take this kind of risk? Especially after seeing players like Perion Winfrey and Mike Hall, who came with character red flags, crash and burn. It feels like a dangerous gamble, one that could either barely pay off or blow up spectacularly, and history suggests it's usually the latter. There's also the sneaky aspect of the timing. According to NFL rules, if a team signs a free agent after May 1st, it doesn't impact the compensatory pick formula for the following draft. That's critical because if the Browns sign Johnson before that deadline, they could inadvertently help their AFC North rival, the Baltimore Ravens, gain an additional draft pick. And considering the Ravens once signed Johnson strategically, even knowing his volatile history, just to potentially secure a comp pick, it would be salt in the wound if the Browns fall into that trap. Let's rewind a bit. Johnson's best professional year came with the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2021. He racked up over 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. Those numbers suggest talent, no question. But the years since have told a different story. After being traded to the Carolina Panthers, he couldn't even finish a season there before being flipped to the Ravens, who quickly cut him. Then Houston gave him a shot and let him go before the playoffs. Even the playoff-bound Ravens, desperate for depth, didn't hesitate to move on from him again. If you're keeping track, that's a cycle of brief opportunities, unmet expectations, and eventual releases. And now, he's landed in Cleveland. At a time when the Browns' wide receiver room, led by Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman, looks dangerously thin beyond the starters, Johnson may have a path to making the roster. But will he stay focused and disciplined enough to contribute? Or will he, as history suggests, derail his own opportunity before the season even starts? Let's talk about the broader context. Browns GM Andrew Berry has a pattern, betting on players with a high upside despite concerning backgrounds. This strategy has burned Cleveland before. Perion Winfrey, a high-potential defensive tackle out of Oklahoma, didn't even make it to year 2 due to off-field issues. Mike Hall, drafted with similar risks, found himself suspended following a domestic violence incident before his rookie season could even get underway. When will this team learn that talent alone isn't enough? It's clear the Browns saw a pressing need for reinforcements at wide receiver. After Jeudy and Tillman, depth was shaky at best. Mike Woods was slated as the WR3, and Jamari Thrash, a 5th-round pick out of Louisville, remains largely untested. David Bell, another 3rd-rounder, missed most of last season with a serious hip injury. If you squint, you can understand why Berry might roll the dice on Johnson. But history screams caution. And if you're wondering just how competitive this WR room really is, Bell's recovering from injury, Johnson has locker room baggage, Thrash is raw, and the lower-end depth chart is packed with UDFAs trying to make a name for themselves. So yeah, it's wide open, but also a powder keg. Before we move to even deeper and more explosive details about Johnson's potential impact, I want to hear from you. What's your gut feeling about the Browns signing Diontae Johnson? Is it a risk worth taking, or a disaster waiting to happen? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's dive even deeper because the layers of this story reveal even more about the decision-making behind closed doors in Berea. If Diontae Johnson's talent isn't enough to outweigh the risks, what exactly are the Browns thinking? It circles back to one critical philosophy running through the Browns front office: the relentless hunt for value. To Barry and his staff, players are viewed almost like stock investments: buy low, hope the asset appreciates. Johnson, in that cold, analytical frame, is the textbook definition of a buy low opportunity. Former Pro Bowler, over 1,000 yards in a season, explosive when dialed in. But football isn't Wall Street. In the locker room, in the heat of the season, character can't be quantified on a spreadsheet. Chemistry, accountability, resilience, those things don't show up in the scouting report, but they define seasons. And it's not like the AFC North is forgiving. This is the most physical, brutal division in football. If your locker room isn't locked in, if your players aren't rowing the boat in the same direction, it shows. Fast. One meltdown, one bad headline, one locker room cancer, it can tank a playoff chase before Halloween. Here's another point nobody's talking about enough: Johnson's ability to stick to his role. At Pittsburgh, when he was the clear number one, he thrived. But once he had to share the ball or accept a secondary role, frustration boiled over. When he was with the Ravens, in a playoff run, he reportedly had an outburst because he wasn't getting enough targets. Think about that. You're on a Super Bowl caliber team, 8 weeks removed from being out of the league, and you're melting down about personal stats. Now imagine him walking into a Browns offense where Jerry Jeudy and Amari Cooper, if he stays, are the established guys. How do we realistically expect Diontae Johnson to accept being the third option, maybe even the fourth depending on the game plan? History says he won't. The Browns aren't just betting on Johnson's talent. They're betting on their culture, their coaching, their locker room leaders to keep him in line. Maybe Kevin Stefanski can work another miracle like he did with Kareem Hunt once upon a time. Maybe Deshaun Watson's resurgence will create an environment where Johnson feels he's part of something bigger. But those are a lot of maybes. And in the NFL, stacking too many maybes together usually leads to heartbreak. And it's not like the depth chart guarantees Johnson a spot. Mike Woods, despite injuries, is still highly respected internally. David Bell, if he can recover, is a possession receiver tailor-made for Stefanski's offense. Jamari Thrash might not have dazzled yet, but the Browns have invested time and coaching into him. Johnson's leash will be very, very short. Do you believe Diontae Johnson can resurrect his career in Cleveland? Smash that comment section below. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. Go Browns!